Good morning. Now I have a dilemma. What camera should I buy now? Now 2020 has been an amazing year for photography. Why? Because we've had a lot of new announcements being made. And with the start of a new decade, we are now slowly moving to mirrorless cameras. Now, I have a wonderful 1DX Mark II. It is a phenomenal camera, but that got me thinking, with all these new camera announcements, should I upgrade? Now, if I was to upgrade, what would I be looking for? I'd be looking for something with high frame rates, with good autofocus speed, with a good low light performance sensor, and with decent resolution. Now, in the mirrorless full frame market, you've got the notable Canon R5, which was released earlier this year, the Nikon Z7. Both of these cameras are 45 megapixels. Beyond the two obvious choices, Canon and Nikon, you also have the Leica SL2. Now that is a 47 megapixel camera. Now the Leica has a very special character to it, which makes it another amazing camera. While doing my research, I found out that the Leica uses the same Sony sensor as the Panasonic S1R. Now the Panasonic S1R is much cheaper, has a similar sensor as the Leica, and is also 47 megapixels. Now there's also Sony A7R4, but that's too extreme and it doesn't really fit my criteria. Now out of these four cameras, you have really good resolution, you have high frame rates, you have good ISO performance, not the best, but it's good, and you also have very good autofocus performance, simply because it's a mirrorless camera. Now also note that these cameras also have a smaller sibling, respectively the Canon R6, the Nikon Z6, and the Panasonic S1H. Now these cameras all have 20 to 24 megapixel sensors, and I'm not going to talk about these cameras because my camera itself has a 20 megapixel sensor, so it pretty much is pointless to me. However, here's my dilemma. In my field, I focus a lot on astrophotography, and with that I need really good low light performance. Each pixel size within the sensor has to be big enough. With my current camera, each pixel is 6 nanometers big, and with that size you can capture really good detail in low light. As you start jamming in more pixels in there, yes, you get more detail, however you start losing out on great image quality as you get to higher ISOs. For example, at ISO 25,000, this produces a cleaner result than a Canon 5DSR at the same ISO. With these new mirrorless full frame cameras, even though they have benefited from advanced technology, they still have a very highly packed sensor, and though it's great for landscape, for me it is good, but it's not the best in terms of low light. So that got me thinking, where to now? Now the best way to get resolution plus low light is to go medium format. Now medium format sensors are bigger than full frame sensors, and they're expensive, but you can get a good second-hand camera at a very good price. Now for all these mirrorless full frame cameras I've listed, you can purchase a similar medium format second-hand camera, notably the Fujifilm GFX 50S or 50R. That uses a 50 megapixel sensor, so similar to what you have in the full frame mirrorless. However, to compare, the pixel size in the new mirrorless full frame cameras are 4.3 nanometers large. Now this is significantly smaller than the 1DX, which is 6.5. Another notable camera is the Pentax 645Z or even the Leica S2 007 model. Now these medium format cameras have really good resolution and really good low light performance. However, autofocus does take a hit, and so does a high frame rate. It can do a maximum of 3 to 5 frames per second. Now here's my dilemma: full frame mirrorless or medium format? Now, after hearing some great speakers and after thinking hard about it, I realized that this camera here does an excellent job. With this table I've shown you, it all leads me back to my current camera, the 1DX. Why? It has excellent frame rate, excellent ISO performance, and very good autofocus. While the resolution is 20 megapixel, it is sufficient for me to capture very good images, and it also does a very good job in capturing moments in time and telling stories. What I also learned is that instead of investing money in a new camera, I should rather invest money and time in actually going to places and capturing those moments.
But we hope that the point still comes across that the gear that you have should be secondary to the photography skills and the storytelling that you implement in your photos.
Because at the end of the day, the gear's useless. Everyone already has what they need in here. It's just a matter of how you unlock it and then the tools that you're going to use to help portray that. And they don't need to be the best tools.
Out. Whatever gets you to see the world and capture it is all that I care about.
Whilst getting the latest gear is really good, it is important to note that cameras and lenses are tools used to capture moments in time. In conclusion, the answer to the title of this video, should I buy a new camera? Not yet. With that, happy shooting.